Salut Yenan et bienvenue au corps pour aujourd'hui. Alors je vais continuer en anglais. Right guys, so we've done it. We've done module 1. This means 1/8 of your GCSE is complete already. Can you believe it? And today we're going to do, before we start assessment next lesson, which we'll talk about at the end, Claudia, chill out. Before we talk about assessment at the end of the lesson, I want to do a bit of speaking today, and we're going to focus on that speaking exam in year 11. So this is what it's all about. Obviously we're here to get great GCSEs, and we will, you know, because you work hard and you do really well, but it's more than that. It's not just about your GCSE grade. What we're all here learning French for is so you guys have that skill for life, so you're confident to go to France when you run out of it, to use your French, not just in shops and in cafes, but like all over, to talk to people. And that is what it's all about today. And that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to do a picture card, you're going to do some speaking, which will show you, and little by little you'll gain your confidence in speaking French. So that's what it's all about today. I'm going to test you on the whole of module 1 before assessment begins. It's going to be fun. You know how this works. Alors mes petits, vous savez ce qu'il faut faire, s'il vous plaît. Copier la date, voilà. Copier le titre du jour. Et aujourd'hui, pour le contrôle de post-it, un peu de révision pour vous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Comment dire en français les 6 phrases ici pour vous aider. Numéro 1, 2 et 3 et 4. Je vous ai donné la première lettre. Alors, mettez la vidéo sur pause et recommencez les vidéos quand tu es prêt pour les réponses. On y va, allez. Alors mes petits, right guys, so you should be ready to start if you've restarted the video. We're going to be talking about all of module 6 today. We're looking at family relationships and rules, testing you on the things you've recently done. So you'll need all these phrases above. Some of them linked to our extra challenge today, which is what I put in a lot of your writing assessments and what we need you to do in in the speaking assessment, giving examples in the past tense. That's how to get into the top bracket. That's how to really impress the examiner. We're going to look at that a bit today, and our post-it note challenge just links into it. Alors, how many of these did you get? J'espère que vous avez 6 sur 6 aujourd'hui. Le premier, I'm allowed to, on dit j'ai le droit de. Literally, I have the right of. Numéro 2, I get on well with, c'est je m'entends bien avec. Voilà, je m'entends bien avec. Key phrase you've got to know for your GCSE. Numéro 3, she was allowed to. Alright, I've been really, really mean here. I'm allowed to is in the present tense. So she was allowed to is going to be elle. What tense is this? Was, were, or used to is the imperfect. So you need to say elle avait le droit de. She was having the right of. She was allowed to. If you've got number 3, well done. Remember the endings for our imperfect. Show the imperfect today. Use it in your picture card. The examiner will love it. Numéro 4, it's not fair. Ce n'est pas juste. I've finished. Past tense. Remember, both parts you need. I need to hear this today in your spoken work. C'est j'ai fini. I have finished. Et finalement, I went. This is always an irregular. It's a motion verb that we're going to be looking at next. C'est je suis allé. Remember, for motion verbs, you don't say j'ai, you say je suis. Alors mes petits, these are 6 key phrases. We're going to start today with an activity that's a bit of a vocab challenge as well. This is a lot harder than a normal word soup. Donc, je vais expliquer en français. Alors mes petits, donc maintenant, c'est un soupe de mots, mais c'est différent et c'est beaucoup plus difficile. Normalement, les phrases ici sont en anglais, mais cette fois, c'est une phrase en français. Il y a les mots qui manquent. Les mots qui manquent sont dans le bol de soupe ici. Donc, il faut utiliser les mots pour compléter les phrases. Par exemple, je m'entends bien avec ma famille. Je m'entends bien avec toute ma famille. Nu, de bonne. Alors donc, utilisez les mots pour compléter les phrases. Après avoir utilisé un mot, on peut effacer le mot. On utilise les mots seulement une fois pour moi. Aujourd'hui, question 1 et 2, c'est difficile. I don't know if all of you will crack 1 and 2 because this is a lot harder today. 3 et 4 sont plus difficiles et 5 c'est pour les experts. En utilisant question 5, on peut faire la défi additionnel ici en français, s'il vous plaît. This is something you can have a little go at now and you can improve and use when it gets to your picture card. Alors, bon courage mes petits, c'est plus difficile. Donc, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes pour faire cette activité. Put me on pause. Once you're done, up to 5 minutes, restart the video and I'll go through the answers. This is going to be tough. Bon courage, hein? Allez, on y va, allez. Alors, mes petits, donc, if you're listening to me now, you've had a really good go at this and you want the answers. I think this was so tough today, so don't worry if you found it hard. Even if you couldn't do like or complete all the phrases, don't worry about that. This was a big step up today. When I show you the answers, it will be a lot clearer and you'll get it. This is fine. This is just the warm-up. This is a bit tougher than what we should give you a 9, but it's good for you to be pushed like this. Alors, numéro 1, c'était « Je m'entends bien avec toute ma famille. Nous avons de bons rapports » qui veut dire en anglais I got on well with all my family. We have a good relationship. Now, I know I've said the same thing twice, but in exam terms, there's 2 really nice bits of skill I've put in here that the examiner will give me higher marks for. First of all, I've said toute ma famille. If you just said ma famille, that's fine, but just add in this extra word, all my family, just makes it a bit more advanced. And then I say I get on well with them, je m'entends bien avec, but then I use another synonym, nous avons de bons rapports. We have a good relationship. So this is a good way just to show my range to the examiner that I've said the same thing twice in 2 different ways, and it makes it sound natural, it makes it sound advanced. Make sure you do it. All right, that looks a bit messy. Alors, numéro 2, je me chamaille avec mon frère car il est jeune et il me demande trop de questions. Right guys, if you got this, you've done really, really well. If you didn't, I'll break down why it is. So I've used je me chamaille, I bicker with, because loads of people say je me dispute, je ne m'entends pas bien avec. Both of those are good, but this is a word that the examiner won't hear a lot and they'll be really impressed with that vocabulary. And then the reason why people always say the same things, I've marked these myself. Il prend mes affaires. I hear that so much, he takes my things. And again, that's fine. Use that because the examiner will give you marks. But we want to really stand out. So this is a great way to say it. Car il est jeune. Because he is young. Et il me demande trop de questions. And he asks me too many questions. Now that is the way to get on to the next level for the examiner because it just gives a load of detail. Even better if you say what sort of things he asks you or give an example. That'd be like to get a 9, guys. A really good, really nice sentence here. Use these sentences in your speaking work today. It's not cheating to borrow these phrases. That's why we're doing it. Alors, numéro 3. Mes amis ont plus de liberté que moi car ils peuvent sortir le soir. So today one of the questions is what can you do, which is great, answer that, but can you compare with other people? The examiner will love it. This one says my friends have more freedom than me. Now that is a great sentence to copy down and to use. My friends have more freedom than me. It's so easy to do, and remember what we've been talking about, what you're allowed to do. This is a great start. If you get asked that question, that'd be the ideal answer to throw back at them. Car ils peuvent sortir le soir, as they can go out at night. And here I've used pouvoir for ils, elles, using jingle bells. Pouvant, pouvaient, peuvent, showing the examiner that I can change these key verbs, and they'll love that. Right, I've said this is green and amber difficulty. All these 3 sentences are red difficulty, but well done if you've done the first 3 or if you got part of them. Tell you what, give yourself a tick for each word you've got. There we go, that's the best way to do it. Alors, on continue. Avec 4 et 5. Alors non, numéro 4. Mais je n'ai le de pendant la c'est. This has got more gaps and words in it. Donc, je vais vous aider. Mais je n'ai pas le droit de sortir. But I'm not allowed to go out, or I don't have the right to go out. Pendant la semaine. C'est fou. So I'm not allowed to go out during the week. It's crazy. Voilà. Et donc, avec ça, les derniers, attention, ils commencent avec le mot hier. So it's all got to be in the past tense. So, hier, je, avec mes amis, et je, très, après 11 heures. Okay, so après 11 heures is your clue. After 11 o'clock. So we've got hier, je suis sorti. In the past tense, why is it je suis sorti here and not j'ai sorti? What is sortir the verb to do? it's the verb to go out, and therefore it's a motion verb. So for all motion verbs, you don't say j'ai, you don't use avoir in the past tense, you use être. So je suis sorti avec mes amis et je suis rentré. So again, another motion verb. You could use retourner here, I returned, but rentrer is to get back. And both verbs work, but rentrer is just, because it's not as similar as the English, the examiner will like it more. Je suis rentré très tard, après 11 heures. Donc 5 veut dire, yesterday I went out with my friends and I got back very late after 11 o'clock. Guys, give yourself a mark out how many you've done, add them up. I don't expect you to have got all these gaps, so don't worry. I don't think anyone would have been able to get all these gaps because this is so tough today, but this is good for you. Give yourself a mark out how many you've done. If you've had a go extra challenge, that would be amazing. So it says, last night I went out with my friends and I got back late after 11 o'clock. Your extra challenge was to say what your parents' reaction to this would be. This is what I put, thinking back to when I was in year 9 and what my parents would say about this. C'est mon père a crié et ma mère a pleuré. Je suis privé de sortie pour 2 semaines. And it says, my dad shouted and my mum cried. So crier is to shout and pleurer is to cry. Yeah, so don't get them mixed up. Je suis privé de sortie. Now this is a great phrase. You can copy this down. You can use this today. Je suis privé de sortie means I'm grounded for 2 weeks. I'd be grounded in a lot more than 2 weeks. My mum would think I'm dead if I wasn't back at 11 o'clock. Even now when I'm almost 30, she still tells me what time to be back when I'm staying at home. Donc, voilà. Ça, c'est les réponses pour aujourd'hui. Now, these are some really nice sentences and phrases just to help you develop what you'll need to say today when we're doing a proper GCSE speaking card. I'm going to talk about it now. Alors mes petits, right guys, let's do it today. You will be testing yourself and you'll be speaking in French to test you on module 1, so you know how the picture card works. We are going to do a lot more of these before your exam, but when you do your exam, you won't feel over prepared. This is definitely the most stressful part of the speaking exam, but it's also a part of the speaking exam where we get really good results. Over 10, I think it was 12 of year 11 last year who sat the exam got full marks on the speaking card, 24 out of 24. So it can be done, and it's purely down to practice and doing what we tell you to do. If you do that, the mark scheme, examiners have to give you full marks. So it is possible. The more you practice, the better you can get. We're going to look at the picture card today. We're going to talk about how it works, and we're going to go through that mark scheme. So when it comes to your exam in year 11, you know exactly what to put in to get the top marks that you deserve. Alors mes petits, you know how this works then. So on the day, you'll get a card that looks like this and you will be asked some questions. You'll have a picture to describe like this on here, and then follow-up questions. One question will be past tense, one question will be future tense. Et voilà, what can you do and how does it work? You know this. You have 12 minutes to prepare. You'll have to prepare the role play in that time as well, but that's very quick. It's only worth 10 marks. You should be spending at least 10 minutes on that picture card to make sure you're ready and to make sure you can get as much as you can to get to the top marks. You're allowed to write your answers. You can bring up to one side of A4 into the exam, and you'd be an idiot to just put some notes. You want to write out your answers. You want to get the good French in and make sure you've got it all down. So when I hit you with the questions from the picture card, you can read it out, which will make you just your answers so much better and so much more secure. In preparation time, you're not allowed anything to help you. Now that does sound harsh, but you won't need anything to help you. You'll have the skill in French, you'll be practiced and you'll be ready for it. And remember, you're supervised at all times by an invigilator, but you won't even notice you're there. They're there because you'll be in the game so much, thinking about your answers like 12 minutes before your real GCSE speaking exam. Alright guys, so hopefully you know how it works. Let's talk about the 2 things that we want to build on what to produce. Et voilà, so let's look at the mark scheme, guys. You've seen this before. We have very, very few examples of this at Glenthorne. I've had 1 or 2, but it never really happens. So I'm just going to skip through this. You know what you're not supposed to do for this exam. This is where we want you to be, guys. So aim for gold, because anyone can get really good marks on the picture card. It doesn't matter what your target grade is or what your ability is. If you work hard at it and you practice it, you can all get gold on this. Let's have a little look to get to the top. Good pronunciation and intonation, inaccuracies are minimal, so it's got to sound confident and French. The next one, lots of opinions, justified with examples and narration. This is what it's all about, guys. We talk about it all the time. It's all about giving examples and narrating. So if you say your parents are too strict, why? What aren't you allowed to do? And then give narration. One time I stayed out until 11 o'clock and my dad shouted and my mum cried. I was grounded for a year. It doesn't have to be true. It's that sort of detail and development that shows your skill in French and will get you the top marks. So for every point, for everything you need to do, for each question, can you give an example? Can you tell a little story about it? It might not be possible for every question, but do it as often as you can, and I guarantee you'll get top marks. And then this is the one I think is so hard, because you're allowed to be nervous in your speaking exam, and you will be. I remember doing mine in year 11 and it being a really nerve-wracking exam, but it felt good after. But you've got to sound confident. So little hesitation, confident, fluid performance. Doesn't matter if you sound nervous, it's all about having and your French being confident and your French being fluid. The examiner will love that. When you're in that exam, you've got to go for it. Now, it might seem daunting now, but by the time you do the real exam, you would have had a lot of practice, so you will know how it works and you will feel more confident than now. So that's a good thing, guys. That's what you need to do. I've missed off the gold, but remember, you've got to nail your tenses. We talked about that a bit in the starter, and for our post-it note challenge, make sure you know your difference and you can absolutely nail the tenses to get a top mark. Alors mes petits, so that's what you need to know about the card. Let's have a look at question 1. Et voila, question 1 is always the same thing. What's happening in the picture? You must reply with swam. This will get you top marks for question 1. And it's not just about getting the marks. You'll do your role play, which will be very short, and the examiner will have a sort of idea for you. But the picture card is where the examiner is going to make their decision about how good you are as a candidate. And if you absolutely smash question 1, they'll think, this is a good one. This one sounds really good. And they're going to be more prepared to give you a top mark. If you have a poor question 1, which is the first big question of the speaking exam, no matter what you do later on in the exam, that's going to stick in their mind. First impressions matter, and if you use swam, you're going to stand out. This is guaranteed a big marks. I promise you're going to blow their minds if you use swam. So for each picture, think, tell me, what can you see? Where is it? What's the weather like? And what are people wearing? What activity they're doing? And then what's the message? And this is what it looks like. You will have this on a poster that I'll print out for all of you when you're in year 10, and you need to stick it on your wall. I'll even give you the blue tag. This is what to think about. So here's our picture for today. Fairly standard bossy parent. Tell me what you can see. So listen to the ideal answer to this. I'd say, sur la photo au premier plan, il y a un ado et sa mère. Ils portent les t-shirts et les jeans. Il y a du soleil. Ils sont en train de disputer. La jeune fille a l'air triste et la mère a l'air en colère. Je pense que la photo veut dire que c'est facile de disputer avec ta mère. Voilà, easy. That is a full, like 100% perfect answer. All of you can do that. You just need to learn this slide and learn the vocabulary of it. Et donc, that's question 1. What we're going to do now is I'll go through the other questions and then you will have 12 minutes to do this. Just like in class, I want you to do this in test conditions. Don't use your vocab. Don't look anything up. Just see what you can do. I know that's harder and your answers won't be as good quality as if you could just use your vocab and look things up in your book. But this is the way to test yourself. See what you don't know. That's what makes all the difference. So before we start our 12 minutes, let's just go through each question to make sure you're happy. So the first one, if you don't know what the first one is, you might as well start this lesson now and leave French forever. Describe the photo is our first question. Second, tu t'entends bien avec qui dans ta famille? Who do you get on with in your family? So think about how to develop that. Think about giving an example. We talk about everything. For example, I can tell her my secrets. I can talk about girls with my dad. Something like that you need to develop. Numéro 3, qu'est-ce que tu as le droit de faire? What are you allowed to do? So this is inviting you to say what you're not allowed to do as well. Whether you think that's fair or not, give lots of opinions and then to justify them why you don't think it's fair. My friends can stay out until 10 o'clock, but I have to get home by 9:30. C'est injuste, c'est ridicule. And then give examples if you can and narrate one time I was late home or anything like that. That's how to develop that. And then you've always got a question in the past tense. You've always got a question in the future. Numéro 4, c'est qu'est-ce que tu as fait le week-end dernier avec tes amis? What did you do last weekend with your friends? Now remember, no, you did not go to the cinema. You did not then eat chicken and that was it. You've got to tell me something else. Make yourself stand out. 100,000 people will do this exam and 99,999 will say they went for chicken and went to the cinemas. Do something stand out. Think about something you've done and use that answer. Make yourself stand out to the examiner. And then this last one is tough. Décris un week-end idéal. Should be a comma there. Sans règles. What's it saying? Describe an ideal weekend without rules. So if your parents were cool or neglectful, what would you do with your weekend? If you could go back at any time, if you could go anywhere, if there was no rules at all, describe your ideal weekend. You can have fun with that. Be as creative as you can. Tell me, what would you do? And remember, you can lie. It doesn't have to be truthful. Alors, can you be sensible? Obviously, don't say I would murder people or something like that. It doesn't mean no rules in society. It just means no parental rules. Alors, that is what you've got to do today. Alors, mes petits. So, you've listened really well. Now, it is time for you to show what you can do. See how good your French is after Module 1 GCSE. I'm going to leave this slide up because you can use this for question 1. Apart from that, you're completely on your own. I want you to be honest with yourself. Get into the habit of doing this exam so when you're in year 11, you'll be thankful that in year 9, you pushed yourself and did this properly. Sur les portables. Sur les portables, s'il vous plaît, mettez en minuteur pour 12 minutes. D'accord? 12 minutes. And properly time yourself. Don't pause it. Don't give yourself any more time. 12 minutes on your minuteur. And then when you're ready, hit start and absolutely go for it. You need to do about 3 minutes. Just under 3 minutes, about 2.5 minutes a question. See what you can do, guys. Keep watching the clock. Make sure you answer each and every question. Think about the mark scheme. So it's all down to you. Put me on pause. In 12 minutes time, restart the video and I'll just tell you what you need to do and we'll have a little look at the mark scheme. Bon courage mes petits, 12 minutes, 3, 2, 1, allez on y va. Alors mes petits, if you've restarted me, your 12 minutes is up and it is time for you to perform. Donc, utilisez votre portable encore une fois, mais cette fois, il faut le chronomètre. So a minuteur is like a timer, counting down. Le chronomètre is a stopwatch. Parce que c'est contre le montre ce qu'il faut faire. Commencez le chronomètre et répondez aux questions en français. Et c'est contre le montre time, how long it takes you to say your answers. So remember, I would be asking you the questions that might add on 10 to 15 seconds, but I want you to see how long you can talk for. How long and in depth are your answers? Your aim is to get to just over a minute. Let's say add 10 seconds on because I'll be asking questions in the exam. So 1 minute is what you're aiming for. If you get up to there, that is what we want for the GCSE. If you can get up to 1:30, so 1:20, take 10 seconds off for me. 1:20 will be really strong. I don't think in 12 minutes year 9s can get up to 2 minutes yet, but that is what the experts would get. It's not about how long you talk for, obviously, but the more you've written, the more depth you've got, the longer you'll go for. So it does have an impression on the examiner. Guys, start your chronomètre, time yourself, and then when you've performed, we're going to look at the mark scheme. So put me on pause, put your timer on, read out your answers. I wish I could hear them. Bon courage, allez, on y va. Alors mes petits, so guys, now you've performed, see whereabouts you put your work. So you know what's in there. Have a little look for our ladders to success. Where would you put your work today? Gold, green, amber? I mean, hopefully you wouldn't put it in red. Which of those three would you put it in and why? Think about it. Can you give yourself a www and EBI? Or what would you want to do next time? Alors, right guys, it's strange to do this activity when you're away, and I love to like hear you perform and get you performing to your partner. Obviously we can't do that over the internet, but that is a really good task. I hope you've enjoyed it today, and I hope you've seen like how good your GCSE French is. Remember, this is all GCSE work in year 9. Module 1 is a really good module to get going. When we come back, we'll test you on it properly. But while you're at home, I still want to give you an assessment, which is coming over the next few lessons. So get your planners out. Et voilà. So what I want you to do, guys, you will have done some of your long list booklet. I get a little email when people have edited them, and there's loads of fantastic edits and some really nice answers. Now this will be your revision for the real GCSE. When you're in year 11, you'll look back at module 1 and you'll look at what you wrote and you'll revise them, because it might be your speaking exam, it might be your writing exam, and remember, these are the real questions. So what I want you to do is complete the whole of module 1. Yeah, so complete just the whole of module 1. Make sure you've got an answer for this. If you've already done it, I know some people have already completed the whole of module 1. If you've already done all the answers to these questions, why don't you revise them? Why don't you check them and make sure they're ideal? And then guys, get learning. You'll have a writing exam where I'll be picking 4 questions at random from this module, and you'll need to think and use the answers you've got here to help you. So make your ideal answers and get learning and revising them. This should be a 50 minutes homework. You'll do the listening exam first, then the reading, then the writing. So make sure you're on this and make sure you're prepared. Mes petits. Right guys, so that is your homework for this time. Any questions, please email and I'll sort you out. A really good effort today, year 9. Looking forward to seeing you all again in September. Alors, merci et au revoir.